Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Navigating Mental Health Stigma. I'm Lisa Michelle Dixon, and I am a certified dog trainer through Animal Behavior College, which has led my group of friends and I to discuss animals all the time. And I cannot express how great pets are for your mental health. Therefore, Alicia and I have obviously had previous conversations about how pets are good for your mental health. And this is one of those recorded conversations. I will have more notes for you at the end. Blue has been such a blessing, even though sometimes I feel like she's a curse because I have so much counter conditioning to do with all of her behaviors and everything that she's been through as a puppy, before I got her. But she's forced me to get out of the house every day and go for a walk and, really train her and focus on her, that it's forced me to really focus on my health as well in a way.
Oh yeah, dogs are animals, pets are a lot of therapy, right? My babies, that's why I got my Khaleesi at first and then Duke to kind of help keep her company. But I was so lonely, and like both of us, we have so much like care and love to give, and it's like I just need to take care of someone, and like you said, it's so distracting to take care of her. And Duke, now that I have him, he was, poor thing, he has a lot of conditioning or unconditioning, like you said too. I told you how he was kept for his first couple of years of life, and it takes a lot of patience in a way. And it does it when I see him and I'm about to lose my patience. First of all, I remember he's like a poor dog who has PTSD, because animals have PTSD also, and they're so helpless. So you
They,
have to have the patience, and you teach me that, like with the cats. I've never had to worry about cats, and just changing the energy I have towards them and the way I look at them or
right, because it's
whatever.
so different than dogs. Like a dog, you can approach it and be all happy, and the dog's like, yeah, I'm gonna match that energy. But if you do that with
Yeah.
a cat, they're like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah. And then now I'm all scared. Like, I know it's a cat, but like, I'm not going to hurt you, but I know you'll hurt me because you're just an animal in the end. But with Duke, it just takes a lot of patience, and it's so distracting. When
Yeah.
I lived in San Diego, I didn't have like a backyard for them, so I had to walk them multiple times a day. At my parents' house, they're spoiled because they can go in the backyard and I don't have to worry about it. They have a dog door. And now that I've, moved into my new place, I have to walk them again.
And they're
So
like,
it's
damn it.
helped me calm down, yeah, so much, because my brothers and my family laugh at me because I tell them my whole life kind of revolves around walking them every couple hours. You know what I mean? I have to plan my day, my schedule around them, which is fine. I don't mind, but it's kept me even more in shape than, being somewhere where I don't worry about that.
Honestly, COVID has made that possible, being at home more to get more exercise and spend more time with her. Because, like, leaving a German Shepherd stuck in an apartment for, if I'm working overtime, sometimes 12-hour days, like, that's not good on her bladder, one. Um, and two, it's not good for her mental health. So it's really, I would avoid doing overtime as much as I could just so I could make sure to walk my dog, which I was
Right.
kind of immediately frustrated with my dad about, like, you got me the damn dog. But then I realized, he got me Blue, and Blue has been so, so helpful for my anxiety. She knows when I'm sad, and you can tell she knows. She just, like, her ears are always up, but when she knows that I'm sad, they just immediately go back and down. And she looks like she feels my sadness too. And
Mhm.
after my grandma died, I remember sitting in the backyard in a chair, and she sat in the chair next to me because my dog is a total weirdo and loves to sit in chairs. Like, even when we drive the car, she'll sit in the front seat instead of the back seat, which is, I know, a total problem and shouldn't happen, but she does it anyway.
Yeah.
And then she just, like, put her paw in my hand and just held my hand because she knew, like, how sad I was. And I just remember looking at her like, oh my God, I love you so much, because you just know how much I need you right now. And she has zero reason to not give me that unconditional love. She just absolutely is always ready to give me unconditional love. And I think that's so great with animals.
It is, and my babies are the same way. They'll just come and they want to lay right next to me or sit right next to me and kind of like, pet me. And it calms me down to pet them and, like, okay, yeah, I am okay. And like you said, the unconditional love just reminds you, like, they love me, they don't judge me, I can feel emotions, and
Yeah,
they
exactly.
get
I can
through
cry
it
into
with
your
you.
arms. You're not gonna hate me.
Yeah, exactly. And then once you feel better, they feel better, and you just get back to doing what you got to do, and it's so healing.
It's like, okay, let's go play fetch now.
Yeah, it's so great. I love them so much. I'm so grateful for them.
And I'm giving Blue all this upper talk, and I'm like, and then here's Fluffy, who's like
Yeah.
immediately right next to me, just
She's
hi,
like, I love you too, Mom.
hi, kitty. Yeah, she's my snuggle bug. So every night we will actually cuddle.
Yay.
She doesn't know any
Oh,
better, so she just cuddles with me like a human.
yeah.
She's
Well,
all
and I think
happy about it.
that's what's like great about people like us, and people who treat their animals like family, because it also trains them to be more smart, obedient, aware, and they kind of do start to understand, like you said, our emotions, and oh, she's not happy right now, she's stressed or mad or sad or whatnot, and they like accommodate to that, like, okay, this is how they try to take care of us. And I think that's why we take such good care of them, because they just love us so much for no reason
She's
other than
like staring up at me. I'm like, Iron, stop, go away.
right. They're just happy because we like feed them and are nice to them, and we're like, oh my god, you like saved my life today by being able to like cuddle and like, yeah. Oh, it's sweet. And therapy dogs are a real thing. It's
Dude,
huge
they
in the
are.
military too. You've got to get, if you need a service dog, what's some of the best therapy
Yeah,
is
my
to get.
dog is actually an emotional support dog. And it's
Right.
because she's so good at sensing somebody's emotions, and she
Mhm.
knows what like emotion to give you or what attitude and energy to give you. She's just naturally good at it. I remember when Hillary had gotten pregnant, and Blue is the kind of dog that when she would see Hillary, she'd get really excited because Hillary's energy is, she's just like this ray of light, right? So she's just like a sunflower, and she's always like really happy and excited. Not that she doesn't have her own issues that she's had to deal with, like depression and stuff. And but she's like majority of the time she's just like this, like I said, a ray of light. And Blue like flocks to her. She just loves her, and she gets really excited with her and Kevin, my little brother. But when Hillary had gotten pregnant, Hillary came into the house after like, going out and about, and she wasn't even showing or anything at this point, but Blue's energy completely changed toward her. She was like,
Mhm.
I have to be gentle. And so then Hillary sat down on the couch, and Blue jumped up on the couch next to her, and she just put her paw on the belly. And I was like, oh, she knows.
So cute. Though they
Dude,
totally
she knows
know.
you're pregnant, and she's just like, there's a baby in there, because it was so calm. And to see like her energy had completely changed with her, to go from always excited to see her like, oh, now I need to be more calm with you because you're expecting. I'm just like, she's so intelligent. I love that dog.
It is. It's so great. I had a friend live with me in San Diego while she was pregnant. Rena, her and her boyfriend Latier, who's one of my besties. And Khaleesi, the same thing. She changed so much. She became very aware that she was pregnant, and she would wait outside her door. It was like a protective thing too. Now she was kind of like, right next to her, and anyone who would come over, she'd just stay right next to her and
She's like
just
jumping
watch
next to you
her.
up.
Yeah, and wait. And she was so patient. She still is that way with people, but they're like that with kids too, right? Because kids get off that, like, maybe not like spazzy kids, I don't know. Some kids like to terrorize
Yes.
animals, and it's
But
like,
the kids
look,
are covered like, ah, like my dad.
yeah, little psychos. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Poor animals, and they can't do anything. It's like, oh, you're so cute. You see all these kids with like these tiny poor dogs, and they're just getting squeezed the whole time. Oh, animals are the best.
Dude, Blue loves kids too, but when it's Halloween,
Oh yeah.
she's like, no. Like, I don't know if it's the costumes that freak her out or if because kids are so excited it's Halloween. Um,
Right.
because she loves to play dress up with me. So, like,
Oh.
we do matching outfits on Halloween and, like, we, sit at
Heck,
the door or whatever. But then the kids come up and they're so excited and she's like, "Arr," and I'm like, oh my gosh, I swear to you.
that's the cutest thing. My
She
dogs
doesn't
will
know
not
what
wear.
this is.
They won't wear animal clothes at all.
Really?
No.
Blue has,
I'm,
I call it her adventure hat,
mhm.
and it's like a little fedora.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, hey, Blue, you want to go on an adventure? And she'll just like run her head through the string because she knows like it's time to wear the adventure hat and go
Yeah.
on our adventure. And it's the cutest damn thing because people are always like, oh my God, that dog's wearing a hat. It's like,
Yeah,
she
that
loves
is
it.
so cute. And it's so appropriate. Like you said, she knows like, oh, this is adventure time. It's not just a walk, you know?
Yeah, like, oh, we're going to go out and go to Starbucks and then go for a hike. And like, she's like, we're going to go.
The whole day. That's what started it. It's true though. Get a dog so you can walk it and love it to death because they'll love you back.
They
And
do
you'll
force you
exercise.
out of it. They force you 100% out of having a depression like stage because that's where I was. I was just not moving from my bed. On top of the fact that I was like, so I got really sick. Here I was losing everybody. My grandma was still going through her chemo. She wasn't dead yet. I found out that I had 7 kidney stones.
Yeah.
From eating healthy of all things. So kidneys can't process oxalates, yay for me. And so that had made me sick. And I didn't go anywhere. I would not get up. I would not move from my bed. I would cry all the time. I missed my brothers. I missed my grandfather. I was just constantly hurting. And then my dad was, hey, we need to get Lisa out of the house, telling Kevin we need to get her out of the house. My dad is like a savior in a way.
Yeah.
And so he did. He got me to get up and go to Chili's, and I went in my PJs. I remember wearing PJs. Like I did not want to get dressed and go out, but he made me go to Chili's anyway. And so we ordered food. I barely ate my food because when I'm depressed, I don't freaking eat anything. And he's like, "Oh, let's go over to PetSmart and get Fred a new leash or a new, a new harness so you guys can take him for a walk." And I was like, okay, Fred is my grandma's dog. And so we went in, and it happens to be adoption day. And I saw this cute, like 9-month-old German Shepherd with her big old ears and her tiny little head. And I never do this, and you should never do this. But I walked up and I stuck my hand in the cage, and she just put her paw in my hand. And I was like, oh my God, you're the cutest thing. And my brother walks up behind me, all like 6 foot, 200 something pounds of him, and his hat is all burly and like scary looking. And Blue freaked out and she backed up and she started barking at him. My dad was just like, I'm getting her for you. And I'm telling him, Dad, I don't know if I'm ready for a dog. It's such a responsibility. Like Fluffy is one thing. Like Fluffy stays in the room. I can still go off and travel the world or do whatever I want and find somebody to come over and feed Fluffy like once a day, because she's a cat. But a
Right.
dog is a huge responsibility. And he was just like, I haven't seen you look at a dog like that since you were 2. And it'll just be really good for you. It'll force you to get out and take her on walks and go outside and play with her. And I was just like, okay. So we got her. And sure enough, dude, like every day, twice a day, I was walking her, taking her on like mile to 2-3 mile hikes, and she really forced me to get out of this dark slump that I was in at that time. And then after my grandma passed, it's like she's been there for everything. And because she has to go for walks and she has to, because she's a German Shepherd, she needs exercise. So because
Yeah.
she needs these things, I do feel a bit obligated to do them for her because I love her. But it's also
Mhm.
been such a blessing for me mentally because I'm forced to get out and not get stuck in this dark fog that surrounds me sometimes.
Yeah, and they're a reminder, my babies, it's like they depend on me,
Hmm.
and even though they do accept and are there for us, like when we're sad or angry or whatnot, like you said, it forces you, if you are just laying in the bed depressed all day, it's like I'm not gonna not let them go to the bathroom. So it's like I have to get up, and it does change your attitude because now you're walking your dogs and maybe it's a nice day outside, and they're so happy, and it takes away so much negative energy from yourself because they depend on you so much.
Well, and
And I
then,
love
yeah, dude, and because they're so happy that you take them out too, it makes you feel so much better because they're happy. It's like
right.
such a good circle.
Yeah, something so small and it's like they just love you to death for it. It's like it reminds you again, like I am grateful and
Hmm.
everything's fine and gotta
Right.
worry about my babies instead. And I
Like,
put them before anything.
yeah.
Like I said, I haven't been much anywhere other than locally because I don't even trust too many people to take care of them unless it's my family because they depend on you so much, and I just could never make them feel sad either, or abandoned or scared. That's like my biggest fear is for my babies to be scared somewhere or
Yeah,
uncomfortable. You know.
because of going to college for dog training, I had to work with a mentor for my externship,
Hmm.
and she's gotten to know Blue very well outside of, her, um, oh my gosh, her shelter. And
Hmm.
she will, she'll board dogs for a weekend or wherever. And I remember telling my dad, like, the first few times they went to Vegas after I got Blue, I'm like, I can't go. What am I gonna do with Blue? Like, I can't just take her to some shelter, you know what I mean? I can't do that. So when she and I got to know each other, and I really, really love Jen. She's super amazing with dogs, and she has such a love for all these animals that she does bring in, that I was just going, okay, well, I'll have you meet Blue. And Blue knows she can't get away with shit with Jen. Like, Jen has helped me do counter conditioning with Blue so much with other dogs.
Hmm.
So it's like, she knows, like, Jen will put her foot down. And it's
Right.
like, as soon as Jen's here, she's just like, yeah, it's Jen. But she doesn't approach her with that, like, intensity. She is intense at first, but then she, like, walks over and she sits down and waits. Like,
Oh,
if I
that's so
sit and I
cute.
listen, I know I get love.
Right.
It's
I
so
just have to
funny.
behave.
So now when my parents want to go somewhere, I know that I can just call up Jen in advance and say, hey, can you board Blue for like a weekend or however long we're going to go somewhere? And she's like, yeah, for sure. I couldn't ask for a better situation for Blue when I leave, which makes me
Hmm.
sleep so much better because I can't imagine dropping her off at like a doggy hotel where I don't know anybody. I would freak out.
No.
I am such a mom. I would freak
Same. And it took me years to find people to clip Khaleesi's nails. Duke is super chill. He can do it. It's me too. I have pure anxiety. I can't do it. I'm too scared, and their
out. I
nails
can't
are like too
either.
long. Yeah, but I found this woman, Kimmy, a couple of years ago, and oh my God, every time she successfully cuts her nails and Khaleesi's super happy to see her, it almost makes me cry like tears of joy because it took so long in going through really just uncomfortable situations where I've like walked out of vets or gotten pissed off, even though, Khaleesi's the one scared or whatnot, but some people don't know how to handle it. And the same with like humans, like you don't have the patience to understand that this dog is just scared and take the time, and it's such a peace of mind. Like I will follow that woman wherever she goes just to
Right?
get her nails, 'cause either way I could never, unless I thankfully found like a friend like yours or something, but I would never board my dogs. I have the biggest nightmare and fear of their ears getting shut in a door, stepped on or something, I would lose my mind. I couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I worked, because the externship is all volunteer work. Uh,
Hmm.
so I worked with her for a few months. I would go there
So
every
you saw
weekend.
her interact with the other animals, so you
Yeah.
became a trust her. Yeah, that's what
I
it
would go
is.
there every weekend. I would help walk dogs, and while you're walking the dogs, they're going through training processes, and like I would work on sit and stay or whatever the dog needed assistance with to help them get adopted. Um, so like if dogs would jump on people when walking, like my main
Mhm.
focus was to teach them to not jump while we walk, and I swear to you, it helps so much with these dogs. And that's how everybody else is there that works for her as well. They know what these dogs need to be trained on. And then I know that she will train them too, and she really takes care of them too. So it's such a great safe space for her that I
That's a
just
peace
know
of
it's not going
mind
to end
too for
bad.
you. Yeah, to have that peace of mind is. I would have never moved in with anyone really, right? With my new roommates, they're my really, really good friends.
Right.
But they see it the same way. And I mean, I could leave Khaleesi and Duke there, and I know they would be totally taken care of and treated with pure, genuine love and
Right.
care. And that's what it is. Whether it be a person or a dog, like people just don't take the time. Like, it's a helpless animal. You don't got to be pissed off at it. Duke went through so much. Oh my gosh, he was locked in a cage for years, and that's why I saved him. And we got him a few years ago. He's being fed Benadryl and hot dogs in a
Yes.
freaking cage. Yeah, and it's like you wonder why, you know. No, and we've been through a lot, like you said. My dogs, dang, the three of us, we've been through it together. All of us were like in a prison together at one point. We
I'm like,
escaped
it's
though.
so bad to laugh at, but I totally know what you're talking about, so I get
Yeah.
it. Like,
No, and it's so great and that's why they're with me, and we, that's it.
because when I
We
first
got,
met you, you had Khaleesi, but you didn't have
yes,
Duke yet. And I
right.
remember like meeting Khaleesi. Oh my God, she was so tiny. Like,
She's such a baby.
she
Oh,
was such a baby. But honestly, she was just so cute, and like she did protect you, like you were her mom. And I remember when I first met her, she barked and whatever, but it was more of just like, who are you and what are you doing in my area? And then it became like, oh, we're friends.
yeah.
And
And I do that with her. Like, if people want to pet her or whatnot, or introduce her to my friends and they've never met her, I'll grab their hand so she sees me and like do the whole hair sniff their hand. But she's very protective. Duke is now too, because of the things we've, been through together. We've had to protect each other, unfortunately, and so we're so close. Like you said, we know each other so well, and we've been through so much together.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, the baby. It sounds like we're talking about our kids, but to us,
No, they really are. I never
that's what it is.
realized
Yeah.
like having a dog would be like being a mom. It's like
Yeah.
having a child. And I said that to my dad at some point after he got me Blue, like, hey dad, had I known having a dog was like having a child, I would have been like, don't get me a damn dog because because I'm not ready to be a mom. And
Right.
you know,
I
um,
tell people all the time, that's why I don't have kids. Like, I can barely take care of myself. I do not need a little human to worry about. The dogs are enough. That stresses me out all the time, worrying about them.
yeah, dude, like I'd probably have an aneurysm if I had children to take care of.
No, and I'd be so paranoid. Like, my poor kids would be so obedient and like in a bubble.
Right.
There's resources to where people can go and find service dogs or get their dogs certified to be a service dog. There's so much important stuff, and that's why all the stuff we talk about, it can go on forever.
Well, that's why
You
I
know,
think we've always wanted to do like a rescue together too, is because we know how important animals are.
yes. Oh my gosh, and especially with all these fires and stuff, it's so stressful. And my girlfriend Julie and I were talking about that this morning, that some of these, we saw some pictures, of like dogs and stuff being left behind in some of these areas that have been evacuated. But what's really sad is that we were like, there's no way people would just leave their dogs. Cause I know
Ah,
I'd be fighting you if you didn't let me go and, get my dog. But unfortunately, some of these places, when the places were evacuated and then locked off, they are not letting some people back into those areas or neighborhoods. And they've had no choice but to leave their animal. And that alone is just, I could not imagine that stress of like, you couldn't get home. You had to leave you had to leave your fucking dog behind,
well, my
And to some people,
grandparents, they used to live in like on between two canyons. So like the only way to get to them was to take one canyon or the other, and we would have fires every year. And one day, God, when was that? I think it was like 2017. It was the day I got my eyebrows freaking microbladed. And I saw like all this billow of smoke. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a freaking fire back by the house. I have to get back home. And I'm like sitting in traffic because like they're turning people around. So they would stop and people are trying to talk them into it. And they would just say, no, no, no. Well, my friend had met me at the corner, or at the, not the corner, but the,
checkpoint.
there's like a Vaughn's area. So it was like the parking lot of Vaughn's. And I had my friend get in my car with me so we could go get my grandma, who was there by herself, who has a walker, you know what I mean? Like, she can't drive herself. She has a walker and a wheelchair, and the animals and the vehicles. And my friend had brought her mom, so that was super convenient too. So now we had 3 people to drive all 3 of the vehicles and have all of the animals saved, and my grandma. And they weren't going to let us through. And I like ripped the cop a new one. I'm like, my grandma is in there. I was so mad. I was, my grandma is in there and she's all alone and she's with the walker in a wheelchair and I have to go save her and you're going to let me go through, damn it. I was like so mad.
Well,
and then they did. They eventually let me in, like, but it took me like 5 minutes of yelling at them about how important it was for me to get back in there and get my grandma. So we did. We like loaded up the vehicle with like important stuff. I think I grabbed my camera bag. My grandma had grabbed photos already that were ready to go. We grabbed the animals, dog food, cat food, whatever was needed. And as I was leaving, I grabbed like extra waters and I stopped at where those freaking cops were. And I was like, here you go. Like, I brought you guys waters. Thanks so much for letting me go through. And it was like a completely different person because I was in rescue mode.
Well, yeah, and they would understand.
Yeah,
People would understand if they just put themselves in your shoes. Like if it was one of their family members, there'd be no question, So.
Well, and I think I said that to them too. I was like, if it was your grandma, you'd want to go in there and save her life, wouldn't you? And the guy was like, okay, you can go. Like, this girl's gonna get out of the car and kick her ass.
Right, and you're not asking them to do it. Like, I'm putting myself at risk. Like, that's my business,
And it was super funny too because I had Fluffy in my lap. Like when I drive, she can't be in her carrier. She wants to be in my lap and looking out the window like a dog. So I had to roll down the window and she was just sitting there looking at the cop like,
how cute.
So funny. And they're like, this is your cat. That's the cutest thing. I was like, yeah, this is what she does. But here's waters. Thanks for letting me go through. But like, I could not imagine leaving animals there. Like,
no.
I could never leave my animals. I would freaking fight tooth and nail to
like,
get back.
You're
like
taking me to jail. Yeah, like you're gonna have to literally arrest me or something. Cause no. I'll cause scene over my dang dogs.
Yeah, for real. Like, you are not gonna let me not save my animal right now. I will find a way to get back over there.
Yeah, no way. My babies will always be with me.
It's like, you're lucky I stopped at your checkpoint, okay?
Right. Run right through. Come with me. Let's save everybody. Grab all the other animals while you're here.
But I do that too for my mentor because she's in the spot where there's a bunch of fires all the time. And whenever I see that there's a fire over there in like Acton, I will like send her a text message. Do you need extra vehicles? Because my dad and I will totally like hook up the trailer and come pick up some animals, And she's always like, no, we got it. There's like 10 people here already. And like, cause she's got so many friends, that know what she does, that live close by. They're always like,
give a shit.
Animals. Yeah. And she could clearly like leave them. Like they're not hers, you know what I mean? Like she plans on
Right.
getting rid of them and like finding them a home so she could leave them, like, but she cares. And I think that's another reason that I'm like, I can leave my dog there because she's always going to be safe.
Yeah, she has a freaking heart. Jesus.
Yeah.
You gotta be pretty freaking tough and cruel to just be like, ah, it's a dog, ah, it's a cat, it's a horse, who cares?
So that's a little bit about having pets with mental health. Um, I do want to let you guys know that there's a lot of different types of service dogs out there. I will go ahead and post a list of them in the comments so that you can research and understand a little bit more on your own. However, I do feel that it is important for me to let you know the difference between an emotional support dog and a therapy dog. Emotional support dogs can pretty much be any type of dog as long as they give your human emotional support. However, it is very important for the human to get a letter of recommendation from a licensed mental health therapist. So they have to be licensed. I found it really easy to do. I obviously go to therapy. So my grief counselor went ahead and wrote me a letter of recommendation for my dog. However, a therapy dog has to pass a series of tests in order to become a therapy dog. They specialize in a lot of other things, not just emotional support. So, a therapy dog has to go through something called the Canine Good Citizen, and that's a test that you can take through AKC. You can check out more about therapy dogs too through akc.org. I would definitely suggest doing that for you guys if you're interested in getting a therapy dog or learning more about service dogs. My dog would never be capable of passing the Canine Good Citizen test because it does involve a series of tests that includes other dogs and how well your dog will behave with them. My dog is a bit dog aggressive, which sucks. She has very few select friends that she likes, and they happen to be male. So she's a very dominant female, which makes her a little bit more aggressive toward female dogs. And I'm not 100% sure why. I do know that when I got her, she had scars all over her face. She had looked like she had been beaten and attacked by other dogs, and it could have some underlying PTSD for whatever it is she went through. But for me, she's absolutely wonderful, and she's the best thing to enter my life because she saves me a little bit every day. I highly recommend getting an animal, and know that it's going to take a lot of your time and a lot of your patience. If you are not somebody who has patience or time, I don't recommend getting an animal. But if you are struggling with any sort of mental illness on a day-to-day basis, a dog does make you get up and walk every single day. They make you move from your bed. A cat, like my Fluffy, is going to cuddle you and hang out with you. So just know that if you're picking out an animal regarding your mental struggles, pick something that is going to not make your situation worse. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy your Mental Health Monday.